Hello friends, thank you for stopping by. If you're visiting my channel for the first time, my name is Michelle D'Souza. I'm a licensed financial advisor in Ontario. Today I'm going to talk about the impact taxes have on our investments. Now we do keep hearing the terms tax deferred, tax free. All of these terms are good. We all know that. We also have seen investments around this, like RRSP is tax deferred, TFSA is tax free. Though we know all of these investment vehicles are good, we just don't comprehend the full impact of what a tax free vehicle could do to your long term savings. Honestly, even I did not get the full impact of it until I crunched the numbers myself and looked at it in a proper, long term view. So, compound interest along with time can actually work wonders on your investments. What I see generally is people, know that RRSP is good for retirement. So, just in the view of having the best tax returns for the current year, they probably just go to the bank and get the RRSP uh, option that the bank would give them without doing proper research behind it. Now, this will actually be a very bad thing for them in the long term because the tax free growth is such a strong tool for investment, and it can actually work wonders for your retirement savings goals. So, if there is any chance that you can get the best returns on investment in any of the vehicles, you should actually make use of it under the registered umbrellas, be it RRSP or TFSA, and not just look at the short term options, either be it tax returns or some short term goals that you can fill with TFSA. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. So, I'm just going to bring up an Excel sheet. The main goal that I want to show is over time, if a 30-year-old invests $10,000 per year, what happens to his $10,000 with a fixed rate of return in a scenario that there are no taxes imposed on returns versus if there are taxes imposed on returns. Let's dive right in. This was a revelation for me, honestly. So let's first jot down the assumptions that we'll have, right? So we have a 30-year-old male, okay, who comes under a 40% tax bracket. We're going to assume that this person invests 10,000 every year into an investment vehicle which gives a constant 5% rate of return, and this is cumulative over the years. Now, I know many folks would tell me that this is not something which will be constant year over year for the kind of investments options that we have in a country like Canada or US. But then, if you average out the investment performance, say over a period of 30 years, which is what I'm going to work out here, then 5% is actually a very much achievable target. In fact, people can achieve much more than this. But let's be on the conservative side, and for my first calculations, I'll keep it 5%, and I'll also play around with the rate of interest to show you how the final amount changes when you get better rate of returns. So first column would be age, the contribution that you're putting, then the principal amount, this is the amount on which the rate of interest is calculated, the interest, plain absolute interest, your taxes on interest. Okay, so these would be the 5 columns, and age, let us say 30-year-old, and this person, let's make it autofill options as series, and then let's go all the way up to 60. Okay, next thing, the contribution. This person is going to put 10,000 CAD every year into this investment vehicle. Again, as his income increases, there are chances he may increase his investment, or he can reduce his investment some year if he has had a difficult year. I mean, there are a lot of variables that you can play around with, but here the major focus is to show you the difference on taxes. So I'm going to make the calculation simple. The principal in the first year is 10,000. The interest, we have assumed 5%, so it's going to be 500 for the first year, right? So instead of writing 500 here, I will make it as 0.05 into C2, C6 in case. Okay, enter, and taxes will be equal to the interest, which is D6 into 0.4. So your taxes are calculated on the interest, and we have considered a 40% tax bracket for this 30-year-old. Note that your taxes will increase as your income increases, because generally your interest gets added to your gross income. So your interests have the taxes deducted at your maximum marginal tax rate. Now let's go to the next bucket. So from here, from next year, what's going to happen is our principal is going to be the contribution plus the principal from last year plus the interest that was paid last year, because we are talking about cumulative here, and minus the taxes that were paid, right? So that is going to be our principal for the second year. The taxes won't change. It's still going to be 0.05 of the principal. So in this case, it will be 1015, and taxes also won't change. So I hope this is clear. Every year your principal is going to keep increasing based on the contribution that you have, and based on the interest that you have earned last year, and based on the principal that you have last year, minus the taxes. Everything else is a plus. Your taxes are only a minus. So let us calculate this number. If I pull it all the way down up to the age of 60, right? I still haven't calculated the interest and taxes, so that's going to change this number. So if you see here, again it calculates B8 plus C7 plus D7 minus E7. So the best part about Excel is it takes care of these equations very well, and this is a tool that even I have discovered recently after becoming a financial advisor. I must say this is a very solid tool that Microsoft has developed. Let's go to the interest. 0.05% of your principal throughout the years. So in fact, this year I don't even need to calculate it, because I'm assuming that this person is going to remove that money from the age of 60. But I'm going to keep up my calculations and my taxes, which continue up to the age of 60. So here you see straightforward the effect of taxes that you have on your principal, right? So this person put 10,000 for 30 years. So he put in an investment of 300,000, and after growth, which was taxed at regular intervals, which is every year, this person got a final principal of 500,000. So it was about $200,000 of growth over his 300,000 investment. Actually, it doesn't look much if you consider that, this person invested for 30 years. So this was taxed growth, right? Now let us see tax-free growth. Same funda applies. Almost all the numbers are going to be similar. So I'm going to copy this table. There is only a small change in the equation that we'll have to do for the tax-free growth. Right. So contribution is same, age is same, principal is going to be changing in a similar way except for the taxes column. So I'm going to delete this column. But let's see how this works out. This is equal to B3 plus C2 plus D2 plus E2. Lovely. Excel has taken care of the numbers of the numbers of the tiles as well. Excel has taken care of the numbers of the tiles as well. Amazing. So what I need to delete is just this taxes column, right? And then let's see what happens. Right? So minus E2. In fact, we don't need this minus E2. I'm just going to simplify the formula here. It's all pluses. So this is either your RRSP or your TFSA. Right? See the difference? Let me highlight this in bold and maybe Arial black to see this number, and then the taxed growth. Our favorite Arial black. So you have a growth of between tax-free versus taxed investment is 707,608 minus 500,027 we put an is equal to here. So this, look at this number, it's huge. It's 207,000 of difference between a taxed investment versus a tax-free investment. So we actually underestimate what these vehicles can do for us, because we only see maybe 1 year or 2 years down the line, and we only see the returns that you could get by putting some money in RRSP for this year or for the next year. But the actual power of these investments is when you actually keep them for the long term and see the growth that they can achieve when they are not taxed. So this is, if you actually divide this by the principal that you could get on a taxed investment, this comes up to 207,581 divided by 500,027. I may not know some cool formulas in Excel, so pardon me for that. I'm not a person who uses Excel on a daily basis. So we are talking about 41 5% of extra growth. Now, this is again a major difference when it comes to the growth that you can achieve with a tax-free investment. So, what is it that is stopping us from going for a tax-free vehicle? In fact, I feel all of us should make use of all possible tax-free vehicles that we can get in Canada. So we know RRSP, we know TFSA, but there are some other vehicles that we can actually use, and we can use it smartly to fund our retirement. My dad has been a banker for over 40 years. He retired after 40 years of service from the bank, and he actually did not believe these numbers the first time I showed them to him because of the major difference that he saw, right? But this is the reality, guys. Unless we crunch the numbers, we never know. So let me also play around with these numbers a bit, just to give you a feel of how your changes could affect this. So say we are not in 5%. Now this is again the conservative side. What if we have 10% interest? Then what happens? You should actually see this. I was shocked when I saw this number. Okay, it's 848,017 for a taxed investment. And let's go for a tax-free guy. And here I put 0.1. Okay, let me go down. Whoosh. Doesn't even want to show me the number, eh? Whew. Do you see this? Where is 848 and where is 1.819K? We are talking about almost 1 million difference, guys. Do you realize this is more than double the growth that you would see on a taxed investment? So please do not underestimate the tax-free vehicles that we have in Canada, and make use of them to the fullest possible extent. We have RRSP. RRSP is tax deferred. So what that means is this entire principal will be taxed any year if you want to keep it as your gross income. But obviously, no one will do that. You take it out as annuities once you reach the retirement age. That's how you use your RRSP in retirement. TFSA is completely tax-free. But there is one more very good vehicle that many people are not aware of, which is also tax-free. There is an amazing method you can use this vehicle in retirement. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So stay tuned, and I hope you were as shocked with these numbers as I was when I first worked them out. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye for now.